All right, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds News. I am Vinnie. This is Angela. We are here with all the tea, as the kids say, about what happened in Port Charles for General Hospital. Uh, and I got to tell you, it's been fantastic. Angela, how are
So
you
good.
today?
I'm tired, but well. How are you tonight?
I am doing great, and it's the same thing. I'm tired as well. I've been up since 3:30 a.m., but it's okay.
Talking about General Hospital wakes me up.
Well, that's great because it wakes me up as well. And today's show I did get to watch, so
Hmm.
I am completely caught up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Before we get to anything, I do want to mention, as always, that we are an official affiliate for WWE Shop, which is a Fanatics experience. So go over to suds-media.com/wrestling merch, and that way, uh, whenever you use that link, we do get a commission, whether it's something for Paul Heyman, ECW, anything WWE related. I also want to welcome everybody who is watching on the multiple destinations that we're broadcasting on tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching last week, but today's a new week, and we have a full slate of shows to go over. We are also an affiliate for Podpage. So if you have a podcast out there and want an awesome uh, webpage for your podcast, go to podpage.com/suds, and that has our affiliate code in there as well, and you'll help us out that way. Go over and subscribe to our patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. You get all of our programming early before it hits YouTube, before it hits the podcast feed. Of course, Suds News is always going to be live, so you can't get any better than that. But either way, when it comes to Dockside at the Bay, take me down to Studio City. Angela Answers Fan Mail, which we'll have a new episode of that this week as well. And Sports Entertainment Center. You'll get all those early by subscribing to our Patreon, patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. If you want to just help out the show and don't feel like subscribing, go to buy us a coffee. So buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media and help us out. Go ahead and subscribe to this page that you're watching on. Click that notifications button and definitely like the video. Now that all of our church announcements are out of the way, do want to mention something that did happen on Twix earlier today. If for those that, trying to get used to this new mouth again, for those of you that are not familiar with it, our co-host Angela is actually a professor when it comes to Days of Our Lives. And yesterday on the show Days for Dummies, which is produced by 10th Floor Podcasts, there and Mama Cat made a reference to a certain weapon that is used in both the WWE and The Walking Dead, and it happens to be the barbed wire wrapped baseball bat. And well, for those of you that are wrestling fans, you know Cactus Jack has had that much longer than the Negan character, and I took offense to calling it Lucille.
Well, you did. And I had a little fun with you with that.
Yes.
And then Matt smacked your hand.
Yes, I can't get mad at Mama Cat. So the apologies to her, and she is forgiven for not knowing that Barbie came before Lucille. Um, um, anyways, hey Chad, welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well. I'm glad. I'm not the only one that's been up since middle of the night, but that's all right. Either way, Angela, how's your week gone?
Good. I mean, been busy as always, but it has been really good. So it's been fun and lots of exciting things going on.
Yes,
Never a dull moment over here at Casa Angela. Casa Angela. I
I
don't know. My
understand
Mojo
that.
Dojo Casa house.
That is very true.
So
Um,
But I always have time for General Hospital, thank God.
yes, thank God for that,
Mhm.
because we all do. We all have we are all thankful for that. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see. We got a lot of news last week. A lot of stuff we've been waiting on. Um, Today's cliffhanger was that we found that they did find a donor for Lulu.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
oh yeah, by the way, Chad, thanks for reminding me. Just seeing you in the chat actually reminded me. For those of you watching in the northern part of North America, in the Great White of Canada, happy Thanksgiving to all of you out there, and happy Columbus Day for those of you here in America, and happy Indigenous Peoples Day,
Indigenous Peoples Day.
um, and happy Italian American Heritage Month. But either way, a lot of holidays being celebrated today. Hi, Julia. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well tonight. We've got a lot on the docket for General Hospital. And so, where were we? Yes, a lot of stuff going down. We did find a match for Lulu, as we saw at the end of today's episode. Idea who it might be.
Yes. And
We do.
we all know who it's going to be, right?
It's going to be Sam.
Yes, it's going to be Sam.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Kind
Yeah.
of figure that. Hi, Ann. How are you tonight? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, so it's going to be Sam, and that's going to end up being her swan song at the end of that, I assume.
Yes, it is. We're not sure. There are a lot of rumors about how she actually, kicks, but that
Yeah,
is
that's going to
that
be the
she's going to be the donor for Lulu.
yeah. So I mean, it's written in the cards already. We knew that was going to
Yeah.
happen. But let's
Mhm.
kind of start. Let's kind of start at the beginning of the week before we get into anything else, because it was just a jam-packed week this week.
There have just been so many of them.
There has
I
absolutely,
love it.
and coming off a 3-day week.
Mhm.
Now we had a full 5 days, and just the episodes go by so quick because there's so much meat in them, and they're so enjoyable to watch. Welcome to all the people in the chat. Chad, Julia, Ann, Shapira, and Donna. Welcome to all of you in the chat. Definitely keep the chat lively today, because absolutely we love having the interaction of you guys. So, as we mentioned last week, the new Lucas came to town. He's been there for a
Yes.
week now, and how are you feeling about him?
I like him a lot. I like his chemistry with Carly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying him. That's
Yeah. Um,
I'm enjoying him a lot. I really liked his scenes I liked the stuff with Ava.
yeah. I did too.
And yeah. I liked him making the rounds, his stuff with at Bobby's grave and with Maxie. That was
Yeah.
amazing. A real nice, throwback to their history. And yeah, I love the connections we're seeing.
Yeah, it's almost like and we saw pretty much the same thing with Lucky. Coming back,
Mhm.
going to meet all the
Right.
people that they're involved with, and just making sure that they're seen, that they're saying, "Hi, I'm
Right.
back." And it was how I really like the new Lucas. I mean, there's of course some people complaining why they have to recast him. Well, Ryan Carnes didn't want a contract,
Right.
and
And they
it's as simple as
want right. And they want Lucas here for an extended period of time. And the thing is, a lot of people don't understand
that.
this, But if they don't sign for a contract, then they don't have to come in when the show says, "Hey, we need you to come film."
Right.
And if they're integral to a story or going to be around a lot, then they kind of need to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Um, so we did, he did get to talk to Ava, and that was one of the best scenes that I thought, because it
Mhm.
was, it felt real, like characters
Right.
that you actually don't remember they're actually related.
Right.
But being that Lucas is Julian's son and Ava is Julian's sister, they are aunt and niece, or aunt and nephew, excuse me, and just the interaction. And I like
Right.
that Lucas said not all the memories of Julian are bad, and they were
Mhm.
talking about, I like how Lucas brought up how he was best man for Julian's wedding to Alexis, and
Yes.
Morris and Ava scoffed at that one.
Well, I mean, because there were times, Julian wasn't around.
Right.
Julian wasn't even really a character until, he was just a name
Yeah.
until, he showed up in whenever 2011, 7, whatever
Yeah.
it was,
William
17,
DeVry
wherever it
took over.
was.
Yeah, when
Yes,
William DeVry took over the role.
right. So Lucas was raised knowing that Julian was his biological father, but he had been with Bobby and Tony since birth.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't, he formed a connection with Julian at that time, but it was very tenuous even then because of, all the issues that Julian had. So, and he really didn't have much of a relationship with Ava.
Right.
They are biologically related, but they're not close. So
Right. Exactly.
it was good. But
It was.
Lucas is a lot like his mother Bobby was, very kind-hearted and forgiving, and I like that he's, gonna try with Ava.
Yeah, and I like that too. And then just the way he ended it, and they ended the conversation where, you know, uh, it was like, oh, well, don't forget about your family. And he's like, well,
Mhm.
I can never forget about Avery or her mother. And it's just
Or her
like,
mother, right.
yeah. And it
Yeah.
was just a sweet thing. And
Yes.
I like that they're trying to tighten up the familial bond. You know,
I agree.
you know, I
But,
like that.
Ava needs to be careful though,
Of
because
course.
Carly is his sister.
Yes. That,
Through and through. Him and Carly are very, very close. And I know that Sam is his sister as well, but again, that connection didn't happen until Julian.
right.
He grew up with Carly as his sister. He was
Yeah.
very young when she came to town. And her and Bobby, when they, mended things, were very, very close. And he was close to Carly since, 99, 2000, very close his whole life, pretty much his whole life. So,
Yeah.
that's his. I love the rebuilding of the Spencer clan.
Oh, yeah.
So
Absolutely. I do
lovely.
too.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing on Twitter that we saw this week is um the idea that Carly shouldn't be the matriarch of the Spencer clan. And it's like, and I've even gotten into the responses a little bit, because there's everybody who's saying that Laura should be the matriarch. Well, Laura's not a Spencer.
Right.
She's the mother of Lucas and Lulu. But
Right.
when it comes to the Spencer clan, she's not.
And that's the thing, is that Carly is the eldest Spencer.
Yes.
And she is, and ironically, she has been a Spencer on screen, like with an on-screen presence
Mm-hmm.
longer than both Lucky and Lulu combined.
Correct.
And Laura, Carly being the matriarch of the Spencer clan doesn't lessen Laura's matriarchy of her family.
Right.
Laura is still their mother. Laura is still the matriarch of her family. But
Right.
Carly is the overall Spencer matriarch, like Bobby was before her.
Yeah.
It wasn't Laura, it was Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And, Laura is close to Lucky, Lulu, and their kids.
Yes.
I mean, ish, which the two of them, because they were, the coma and then gone and yada yada.
Yep.
And has a relationship with Lucas. Ish.
Yeah.
Carly has a relationship with Lucky and Lulu and their kids. And
Mm-hmm.
it was very close to Lulu. And even before the coma, they were getting back to it. Lulu was her maid of honor for her last two weddings to Sonny. Ugh, God.
Yeah.
But she's also close to, Lucas, her children, Michael's kid. She's closer to a lot more Spencers than Laura is.
Yeah.
And it's just the
insane amount of Carly hate. It really is. It's insane.
Oh, and they're complaining about, her having scenes with Lulu. They're complaining about her having scenes with Lucas. Why didn't he go see Sam first? Well, one, he's closer to Carly.
Yep.
And he's going to be staying with Carly, and that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And just they need to, it's so funny too, because so many people they want to erase the fact that she's a Spencer.
Right.
All the people that call her and her kids Benson, even though she used that name for less than a year on the show.
Right.
So she came to town, Carly Roberts. And then when she was outed as being Caroline Benson, she used Carly Benson until she married AJ in early 1999.
Yeah.
And hasn't used it since. Michael
Right.
was born a Morgan and then was a Quartermain, was never a Benson. Carly's hasn't been a Benson since early 1999.
So, I mean, that settles it. She's a Spencer through and
Exactly. And Luke was and it's funny too, because a lot of people will be like, well, the Spencers are trash. The Spencers are trash anyway. All right. Well, then why do you care?
Right. Exactly.
And Luke was the first one always telling her, you're a Spencer, little girl. You're a Spencer.
Yeah.
So, and she is. And that's just how it goes.
Agreed. Yeah.
Bobby was still a Spencer when she was married to Tony and using Jones and whatever, but she is a Spencer, and they're just going to have to deal with the fact.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
So,
checking in with the chat. So far, everybody's positive on Van, the new Lucas. Donna says Van is fabulous. Shapira says that he's doing a great role so far. Chad says, I'm liking new Lucas myself and agree. I've liked his connection with Laura Wright, Eden McCoy, Mara West, Kirsten Storms, and his interactions have been good so far. And then Shapira points out that Erica Kane and Dorian Lauren were matriarchs, so why not Carly?
mm-hmm.
And in a way, so is Helena.
Yeah. Helena was the matriarch of the Cassadine family.
Now it would be Alexis.
Yeah. So, Catherine Chancellor and, Jill too, they just, people hate, her haters, hate that she has any status on the show whatsoever, but they're just going to have to get over it.
Yeah.
And prepare for more seething as the Spencer cousins bond.
Of course.
Because a lot of people, a lot of insiders are saying that, they're center, the Spencers are going to be the core family. And she's going to be at the center of it. And people can hate it as much as they want. She is the Erica Kane. She is the Dorian. That's the role that GH has put her in.
Right. And Shapira, you're right. Not every matriarch has to be a good girl. And the point is that the matriarch is basically just the head of the family, the female head of the family. That's it. It has no nothing saying good or bad or anything. But whatever. I mean, it's just absolutely something um, ridiculous to fight over when
Yeah.
the bloodline is there.
It,
Um, all right, so kind of moving on a little bit.
mhm.
Um, okay, here's a good one. When it comes to the Quartermains, who would be the matriarch? Shapira says it's Tracy. Would it be Tracy or Monica?
Well, I mean, it should be Monica, but that's a hard one for me because I think it should be Monica just because she has been more of a presence on the show up until now, but de facto it's Tracy because Monica's not on.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, it's Monica's house,
Hmm.
but more of Tracy's descendants are living in it.
Yep. So
But, so it's, I would, if I had to name somebody that isn't right now, it would be Tracy because she's on and Monica's not.
yeah, agreed. So Donna says Rachel began as a vixen. I don't know who Rachel is.
On Another World,
Oh,
I
okay.
believe, right, Donna? I think
Donna
that's what
also
she's talking about. Yeah.
Donna also says that Sam fan. There's a lot of fandoms that drive me crazy on a daily basis, and I know that I know that Angela could say the same thing. Um, and it just comes down to the fact of you get more flies with honey than vinegar, but the vinegar is out in force from a lot of these people.
Yeah.
And I actually got involved with somebody who online, and I sent you the post, and
Mhm.
it's um it's just a delusion of people and how they're let me actually read it to everybody. um I gotta get over there, and let's see. Oh yeah. So here's the thing. Somebody posted, and then this is just a taste of Angela Answers fan mail. That we will be having a new episode coming out this week, so stay tuned. Sign up for
Mhm.
Patreon if you want it early.
Mhm.
Um, so this person said soaps should write for the audience they want. What kind of audience does GH want? And I wrote, um, oh no, wait a minute. You know what? Well, yeah, I said they write for a general audience, not the vocal minority on social media. Which audience do you think they should write for? Because whatever you may like or want, there are fans who like and want the exact opposite. And then somebody had to go in with the ratings. Um, and somebody said if that were true, the ratings wouldn't have tanked so dramatically. And I said, it is true. More people watch on Hulu or on DVR than live or within 24 hours.
Yeah.
And whatever you complain about, other people like. So which set of fans should they write for? The 5% of the audience that complains on social media? I mean, that's what it boils down to. And because people complain about everything and they tag Frank Valentini and they tag Nathan Varney and they tag General Hospital and they tag this and they tag that. And it's like, I guarantee
Disney
you
and
people are muted by
ABC
now.
Network and
Yes.
it, the whole I love when they, rehire Kelly Monaco, hashtag fire Frank.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think you're getting anything with that? And I say this to every time. I always remind people what Frank said. Fans on the internet, fans on social media are hammers looking for a nail.
Yep.
And I mean, the small percentage of the fandom that's even online and talks about it online can't even
Yeah.
agree on something.
Exactly.
Fan bases can't even agree. You know what I mean? I mean, Carly fans can't agree who they want her with. Liz fans can't agree who they want her with. Jason fans can't, you know what I mean? People can't agree in their own fandoms, much less the entirety of the online fandom,
Right.
and it's just, they cannot write. They can't be thinking like that. They can't swerve stories um to, based on some fan response.
Right.
They can't. It's
Yeah.
not feasible.
No, it's not going to happen. It's
Yeah.
almost like if you've ever seen the movie Bruce Almighty,
Mhm.
and when Jim Carrey acts as God and he sets up that email prayer service and just says yes to
Yeah.
all, that's not going to happen. Like it's not going to happen because nobody likes the same stuff. Because you hear a lot. I mean, just the way Angela and I are gushing about how great GH has been, you read online that the ratings are tanking and people are turning it off in droves and nobody's watching it because Kelly Monaco is leaving it and. Well,
Right.
that's not gonna, that's why the fan base doesn't get listened to.
Well, I mean, the thing about soaps, I see people saying, if I don't get this, I'm not watching. If I don't get that, I'm not watching. Soaps were not designed for people to watch for one thing,
Right,
for one character, for one pairing, for one storyline. That's not how they were designed.
right.
So you're not their target audience.
No,
I mean, I am a Carly fan. I don't love everything that's going on with Carly right now, but I am enjoying the show overall
yes,
because I watch for the entire show.
yeah, exactly. So, Donna, just a little, you asked in the chat, when is mail answered? And we will be filming that later tonight, and it will
Mhm,
be released on Patreon first. It'll
mhm.
be posted to YouTube and the podcast feed on Thursday, but it'll be up on Patreon by the end of the night. So, if you want to get it early, sign up for our Patreon. Um, all right, let's get back into the storylines because we've gone off on tangents already, but it's okay because that's what we do here.
It is
Um,
what we do.
all right, so let's talk about Geo. We did have a scene this week with Geo and Trina getting into a little bit of an argument at the Bobby's. Jocelyn had to play the peacemaker, um, and because Geo said that he did not want to play at the art gallery.
Mhm.
And Trina's like, well, okay, then I just won't ask you to ever play for us again. And
Yes.
then a little dramatic, um,
Yes, they had a little bit of angst.
a little bit, yep. And then Jocelyn came over and asked Gio what was wrong. He explained it and said, come here, and just kind of brought them together to hammer out their differences. Um, and which was funny to watch.
Jocelyn's like, Trina loves Ava. You love Sunny. I can't stand both of them.
Right.
I love you guys.
um,
And isn't
and
that
I
what matters?
and I agree. Geo hasn't really been used the way he was originally meant to because of the writing changes.
Right. They've kind of put that entire age group kind of on the back burner while they were working everything else out.
Yeah,
So hopefully, after we get past the older people stuff that's going on,
yeah,
we'll start seeing them again.
exactly. So hopefully the teen scene or the young adult scene gets a
Right.
little bit more beefy now that we see that Dex and Molly have been interacting quite a bit more. I
Hmm.
know there's a lot of Jex fans that are upset about that and denying the fact that they're chem testing Molly and Dex.
Yeah, I still kind of I don't know. I'm wondering if they're going to make them siblings, but if they're going to make Rick his father.
Ooh, that's a possibility.
That was honestly my thought. But I mean, they could be going the other way.
Yep.
Molly seems to me to be a lot older than Dex,
Uh,
but
yeah, I mean, I would say within a decade.
yeah, but I mean, it's totally possible. It's definitely possible. I think that if there's something's going to happen, then it'll be when Sam dies.
Yeah, where
That'll be the
Molly.
test.
Yeah, I'd assume you're right.
Yeah.
Molly's going to need some comforting. TJ's not going to be there, and
Yeah.
lo and behold, Dex is there for her.
Yep.
So Donna says, Angela, you've been trying to get sexy Dexy a papa for years.
I have. I'm still open to it being Jason. I'm still really open to it being Brennan, but Rick works too.
But yeah, the young adults, it's been lousy writing.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well, I mean, it's been no writing.
Yeah, none at all. Like they've been props
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So hopefully, now we'll get something. There is something in the works there with Gio and Trina, but Gio's also could potentially the center of controversy when it comes to um, Brooklyn and
Dante.
Lois and Brooklyn and Dante, and they've been talking hush hush and.
Well, I heard another speculation too, though, which would also be very interesting.
Mhm.
Before Lucas came out as a
Yep.
teenager, he dated Brooklyn.
I did not know that.
Yes. So what if he's Gio's father?
Yeah, David actually from Take Two Radio texted me earlier and said, there's a striking resemblance between Lucas and Gio.
Which would be very interesting too, especially because Lucas is still struggling with losing Wiley.
Yep.
So,
Although I don't know how Brooklyn could turn any man gay, but I mean that's just insane to me. That would have been a hit
that's
to
not
hurry.
how gay works, Vinnie. Listen, Grandpa, that's not how gay works.
I know.
I'm teasing you. Anyway, so yeah, there are a lot of possibilities there that are very interesting.
There is, yeah.
I still tend to think it'll be Dante, but Lucas would be an interesting twist.
That would be a very interesting twist for. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that until you said anything, and
Yeah.
I think that would be
Yeah. So.
great twist. And then Lois seems to know all. So she, overheard the conversation between Gio and Violet, and
Yeah.
she was like shocked or
Honestly, Lois is the one that I struggle with the most with Gio being Brooklyn's. Because Lois would have to know.
yeah.
And I just can't see Lois, letting somebody else raise her grandchild in such close proximity and not letting that kid know. You know what I mean? I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know. But it's also, I mean, they could also go, the way with Lucas that, he could, there could be a question about if it's Dante or Lucas's, or Lucas could question if it's his, and then he starts thinking about, getting a surrogate or trying to adopt to get, you know what I mean? It could, spur something like that with him too. So
And then but Julia brings up a good point. Why is Sonny supporting Gio? Because because that's like I understand, he's close to Brooklyn and Lois and that whole thing. So
right. And he was, from the neighborhood, and his dad died, and then his mother died, and
all right, so that makes sense. It wouldn't make sense.
Philanthropy.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't make sense if it was Dante and Brooklyn, years ago, because at that point, Sonny wouldn't even known about Dante.
Right.
So
Exactly.
unless they're going to retcon that, but I don't think they're going to.
I don't think so either. So, but I don't think that Lois would have told him that it was Dante's kid because, then Sonny
Right.
would have been like, "Hey, get me my grandbaby," because, he collects, he
Yeah.
wants, mine, 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 mine.
Right. Yes. Donna says a Bensonhurst orphan.
Yeah.
Um, um, but again, what led up to that was Chase in
Yeah.
Brooklyn being called by Violet's principal, saying that Violet, punched a kid named Garth,
Yep.
and he ended up, they ended up going to the principal's office, and here's the thing: the principal said this kid's been a bully all year,
Yeah.
but because Violet decided to punch him, she's being suspended for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
That bothers me. I'm sorry. That bothers me.
I mean, it bothers me too. Well, yes and no, because the thing is that they should have dealt with the bully.
Yeah,
Obviously, they should have dealt with the bully. However, you can't let kids hit other kids.
yeah. I was
But
always
I,
taught
I,
don't start something
you can't because it gets out of control.
like
And you can't let one kid hit another kid and say, "Oh no, it was okay because she was a girl," or something. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's got to be, it's school. They got to be. I mean,
yeah,
I always told my kids that, if something was happening and nobody was doing anything about it, then to just
yeah.
pop
Take
somebody.
care of
Not
it
that they ever
yourself.
did, but you know,
Yeah. No, I get it. So they do go down to the school, and the principal was there, and the principal is actually I don't know the character. Oh, Principal Ford was played by Jackson Mercado
mhm.
for the day, and it's funny because as soon as Lois gets done talking to Tracy, because Tracy's like, what are you doing? Why are you spying on them? And she calls Diane, and Diane meets Brooklyn and Chase down at the school, and you know they're like, we have this handled. Why are you here?
Yes, that was so funny.
Do you think that Tracy overstepped?
Oh God, yes. But she overstep. That's Tracy. One, she oversteps, and two, she
Yeah.
overstepped in a Tracy way. Honestly, I'm surprised she didn't go down to the school herself.
Right. Yeah.
Well, go find the kid's parents, and
Yeah.
so honestly, this was a muted response from Tracy, but it was. I laughed. Them opening the door and Brooklyn just being like, "Oh God, this is not good."
Right. Exactly. Um. So I like that, and after seeing uh Diane show up, Brooklyn, Chase and Brooklyn go, could we have a moment, please, to the
Yes,
principal?
please muzzle her. Please let us talk to her. Yeah, just Diane. But you gotta love Diane. She's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm
Oh yeah,
gonna.
Diane had a lot this week.
She
Um,
did. She did.
I I love the character of Diane, and I think we saw her more human this week than I think we've ever seen her before. This whole storyline with Alexis, and you know, first her going to Sunny saying, help, Alexis is my best friend,
Yeah.
help her get out of prison. And then she goes to Jason,
Right.
and the conversation that Jason and Diane had this week was fantastic. I really
It,
enjoyed how Diane called him out on, you know, who's more important. Why do you think, your kids wouldn't agree that their life would be better off without you? You
right.
know, although he did double down that he cares a lot about Sonny and Carly and their
Right.
freedom and safety, and he's willing to sacrifice himself for them.
I mean, I think Jason should put his kids first too.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little upset that Jason wasn't more upset with Sonny for involving Carly and Michael in this after everything Jason did
Yeah.
to keep Carly out of trouble.
Yep.
And, the whole thing with, what Carly was in trouble for is that it was her. She got in trouble because she was cleaning up Jason's mess. It wasn't like
Yeah.
Carly just did something stupid and did something wasn't supposed to do. She did what she had to do because Jason fucked up.
Yep.
And that's, why he felt that he had to, aside from, his loyalty to them anyway, he felt that he had to make sure she didn't go down for that.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, Carly was why they were both free.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Brennan got rid of that evidence because he likes Carly.
Yeah. And
So,
Brennan's being smitten with Carly almost got her in trouble this week.
but then I absolutely loved when he heard the person at the door, though, with him immediately, Carly, go back there, because he wanted to make sure that she was in no danger. God, I love him.
So it's a new Charlie. It's Jack and Carly right now.
And Charles Mesher, who plays Brennan, has named them Jackley, because we used to call them other Jarly, because it's Jarly and then other Jarly, which was Adam
Jack.
Harrington's John and Carly.
Oh,
And
John.
then the joke was Jarly, other Jarly, and other Jarly. And he's like, other Jarly is just sad. It's just sad.
Which is amazing because if you think about it, the majority of Carly's love interests have started with the letter J.
Yeah.
Whether Jason or Jax or Jack
John,
or
Jax, Johnny.
Yeah, Sonny and Franco were the oddballs.
Yeah, Sonny, Franco, AJ, Drew.
Drew.
She had that one night fling with Todd. My girl does not have near enough notches on her bedpost. In our Carly group chats all the time, we're always like, why can't she be more of a whore? They call her a whore. Why can't she be more of a whore? Maxie has slept with more people than Carly.
Oh, Maxie
her and Liz, I think, are tied. Her and Liz, I think, are like tied, or she's like one above Liz, which is insane. Ugh.
But Donna points out that Gabby has slept with 4 Damaras.
Well,
different show, but same.
Yes. Well, I mean, Sam, Dante, Sonny, Rick.
Yeah.
Liz. Well, I mean, Carly had all 3 of Alan's sons. So did Liz, but Liz also had both of Laura's sons.
Yeah.
So she had 2 sets of brothers. It's a soap opera, though. It's what happens.
Well, Michael's been with all of Nina's daughters. I mean,
it's so funny.
Daughter.
Yeah, he slept with all of Silas's daughters.
Silas's daughters, right?
Yeah. Without knowing that any of them were related to each other, which is really funny.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. So, how did you like the whole Robert and Holly thing with Mac warning Holly off of Robert, and then Felicia saying, "Oh, go get Robert."
I thought it was really fun. I thought Mac warning Holly off of Robert was very brotherly of him.
Yep.
Although absolutely pointless because it was never going to happen. And I thought Felicia was pretty hysterical. I liked how she, straight up told her husband that she did it. She was just like, well, I told her the exact opposite, and I think that's what she's going to do. And I thought it was hysterical. I thought it was really sweet when, Holly went into Robert's office and he said he'd been waiting for her. And she's like, really? He's like, all my life. And then said, because you're always late. And I thought, I love Holly and Robert. I really do. And
Yeah.
I still think this is Tristan Rogers' swan song. I think he's going to be leaving with her.
Yeah.
I like Robert and Diane. I thought they were fun,
Yeah.
but the love of his life is Holly. It just is.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Just the,
and she's
just
a
the
troublemaker forever and
but
ever.
just the way that they edited the scene where, Holly's like, "Have you been waiting for me?" And he's like, "All my life,"
Yeah.
and because she's always late.
Yes.
So Shapiro wants to point out that what she meant to say last week about Carly and Sammy is that they have almost the same personality, not necessarily the crimes.
Yes. And
Which
I
makes
love
sense.
Sammy. They absolutely do. They are um absolutely balls to the wall for the people they love
Yep.
and screw everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, not necessarily screw everybody else, but they're not as concerned about them.
Right.
Carly
Uh,
can be a little bit more of a heroine than Sammy.
I tend to agree. Yeah.
Yeah, Carly has her moments with that. And well, Carly isn't nearly as reckless and impulsive as she used to be.
No, and actually, when I saw Reckless Impulsive, the first person that comes to mind is Christina.
My God,
Oh, she was
somebody needs
getting on
to
my nerves.
shoot that woman with a tranquilizer dart. I swear to Christ. This is a full grown woman in her mid 30s. She needs to knock it off.
But it's like here's my one gripe with the GH writing staff is that you had Kate or Christina so popular in the pairing of Craze to the point where it's been almost a 180 where I can't even stand the character right now because she gives me agita. It's just with everything she's not, and don't get me wrong, I have my impulsive moments too where I don't think about the consequences, but that's all she's been doing this entire time. I mean,
And
granted,
I
she's always
agree.
been impulsive.
And I liked the pairing of Craze too, but I think, see, the thing is that they needed her to be doing this stuff to drive this story.
Yeah,
And if she was happy in a relationship with
it wouldn't have
Blaze,
happened.
it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that, they needed her to be acting on her worst impulses, which wouldn't happen if she was happy with Allison.
Right.
So, but I do like that they didn't destroy the pairing to do it.
Right. Yeah.
They sent her on tour, they left the door open, and I'm hoping that she comes back and we see, Christina
Yeah.
not be so the worst parts of her mother and her father.
Right. Because she is in a place now where she, how many times did she go to Alexis and say, "I'm gonna go to the cops. I'm gonna go to the cops." And Alexis is like, "No, because if you go to the cops, you're gonna make everything worse."
Worse. Right.
Because you got to look at it from Alexis's point of view. Alexis told the cops, "Yeah, I took my car out and I sat in the Quartermain's parking lot or driveway or whatever." And
Right.
so if Christina says, "Oh no, I'm just going to go and I'm going to say I took your car," well, now Alexis just gave a false statement, so she's screwed either way.
Right. And
And then
right.
the whole thing, and then again, she, Christina now looks guilty for the murder of Kate's, and it's just going to make it. It's just, it would just make everything worse.
Well, absolutely. And like the whole thing, I like the character of Alexis. Even when
Yeah,
she's a bitch to my girl, I like her. I've always liked her. I like the actress, I like the character.
yeah,
But I wanted to smack her this week
yeah,
when, what I'm talking, when she told Martin to imply that Carly did it and Sonny was covering for her.
yeah.
Now, I like Alexis, but I did not feel bad for her in her
No,
situation. One, she put herself there.
she did absolutely.
And two, I'm old enough to remember when she killed Luis Alcazar.
Yep.
and watched Brenda and Jason get arrested, charged, and put on trial for it.
Wow.
And the truth didn't come out until somebody else outed her.
Yeah.
Until Sky remembered seeing her. So I don't feel bad for her
Yeah.
because she has let somebody stand trial for a crime and they were actually on trial.
Right. Yeah.
She was their lawyer.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So this whole, people can miss me with this whole, oh, poor Alexis thing.
No, I have no sympathy for Alexis.
And Carly was talking to Sonny and she was like, what are we going to do to help Alexis? And
Yeah.
Alexis is like, frame Carly for it. And I'm just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
where the fuck did that come from?
Well, the whole thing was
My God.
the whole thing was that Martin and Alexis decided they're going to go after Carly instead of Sonny. And they end up getting this PI. And I'm sorry, but here's my biggest thing. All right. They got a PI named Elaine.
And her dog
And
Mavis.
she's there in the Metro Core with her little frou-frou dog. And she said that she pulled some strings to get the dog recognized as a service animal. And I'm sorry, but that is a slap in the face to all the people that actually need service animals.
Okay, but people actually do it. Like, especially, idiotic, rich, privileged white women.
Well, yeah, exactly. And
it's a very Karen thing that they do.
And here's the thing. I'm going to say this, and because after coming from the hotel industry, hotels cannot turn away service animals that are recognized by the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Association. And service animals are trained to perform tasks for their owners. An emotional support animal is a pet. I'm sorry, I'm going to say that bluntly. An emotional support animal is a pet. And yes, there's people that go out and, they need them for anxiety. And I get it. I'm saying that that's invalid. But when it comes to traveling, when it comes to going to a hotel or even housing, emotional support animals are not covered by the ADA. Right. So here's the biggest problem. And I'm going to tell this to everybody who checks into a hotel. A person, at least in Connecticut, a person working at a hotel front desk is not allowed to ask somebody to see the paperwork for their service dog. In the in common areas, the service dog is supposed to have their harness on or their vest. The only thing you can do is ask what the dog is what tasks the dog is trained to do. You can't watch them. You can't have them demonstrate it. You can only ask. And if they say, well, he has to open the door for me or get things down for me or whatever, you have to let him go. And it's frustrating on behalf of anybody working in a hotel that doesn't allow pets because people always try to get away with it.
Yes.
Because, it is what it is. And it's just something that's frustrating. So when this lady said that she pulled strings to get the dog recognized as a service animal, I'm sorry, but that dog is not providing any service, for you.
No. Yeah, it was absolute, and it was very much, I think it was very much to paint a picture of that character as an ass, as a Karen, as a, I think that, it wasn't to paint that character in a flattering light.
Of course. Yeah.
So.
No, you're absolutely right. And she ends up following Carly up to Brennan's room, takes pictures, and Felicia kind of is onto her.
Yeah.
Because Elaine asks Felicia while they're in the bar, because Carly was talking to Lucas. And she's like,
that handsome young. Yeah.
Yeah. Is Carly already moving on from Sonny? And she's like, well, there's a couple things wrong with that.
I have to say that this whole thing was incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
Because Carly and Sonny could definitely have been a one-night stand.
Yeah.
that whole premise was stupid, and whatever. It was what it was. I was so annoyed by it, by the entire thing. But it is what it is. The story is not over.
Right. Yeah. So,
I have a feeling Christina is going to end up getting her ass charged because she's not going to keep her mouth shut.
oh, geez. Well, I mean, we did see today that the charges were dropped against Alexis because on Friday, Mysterio came, wound up at the PCPD out of camera range behind a car. Whoever brought the box knew where all the cameras were and was missed on all the cameras at the PCPD, and it had the gun in it, which was the one that Alexis.
I think it was Brennan. I think it was Brennan too. But there's a dark horse that it could have also been.
Okay.
Valentine.
That could be true.
I don't know if they're planning on bringing him back, but if they were, Alexis is his cousin.
Yeah.
And they did have a relationship that was
somewhat amicable.
Close-ish for Cassidines, Yeah. So I could see that potentially.
Yep.
But I also kind of think it was Brennan.
I think it was Brennan too, just because, that gun, exonerates Alexis. Now Sonny doesn't have to turn himself in, which this whole thing was leading up to Friday, where Sonny's like, I'm going to go turn myself in. I have to. I'm going to turn myself in for everything the FBI was looking at me for. And the deal that Diane is going to get me is going to make sure that Carly's not charged, Alexis is not charged, and everybody's protected, and yada, yada, yada,
I'm the
yada,
only one who goes down. Right.
Right. And then all of a sudden he's there to turn himself in, and Dante stops him.
Dante needs to be fired.
Well, he didn't. He ended up not having to put his career at risk because Martin comes in.
But he told Alexis that he was going to do it, so...
Yeah. Well, he told Anna.
Or told Anna he was going to do it, yeah. So he should have been fired.
The thought crossed his mind. But, you can't necessarily get fired for thoughts. I mean, it's the same thing where you can't go to prison for a thought. It's just a matter of the action.
Yeah.
So Dante didn't ruin his career by telling Sonny about the new evidence. It was Martin and the FBI lawyers that came in saying, why didn't I know about this new evidence? And then Anna had a spill right in front of Sonny. And that way Sonny's like, well, okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that you guys were treating Alexis okay.
Right.
And everything was going to be fair because, Alexis has a connection to me. So Sonny didn't have to worry about turning himself in yet.
Yeah, I think that, it's definitely not over.
Yep.
And I was hoping, I was like telling Carly, screaming at Carly through my screen to change her statement when Anna was trying to give her the out.
Yep.
But I also knew that she wouldn't, sadly. But hopefully, if it all comes back up again, because she could go and make a deal for herself. I'll recant my statement. Yep. And that man, at first, Sonny was just like, yeah, I'm going to turn myself in. She's like, hello?
Yeah, I know.
Hello? And then he's like, oh, you can get on a plane and leave with What?
Yeah.
What about Jocelyn, her grandkids, her, the rest of her family?
Yeah.
Although I really loved the accentuated her calling her family it was the Spencer family, which I loved.
Yeah.
So
Shapiro says Carly has matured, but there have been times where she's gone back to being a bad girl, and I love her for that. Well, she's got the experience of being the bad girl. She's able to do it. So why not use it to her advantage when she has to?
Well, because this was the thing with Carly. she came to town, and like a lot of people have said, "Oh, Carly's a whore. Oh, she's a gold digger. Or she's this, she's that." She's not.
Mhm.
Carly, above all, wanted a family that loved and accepted her. She felt
Yes.
love and acceptance in a family. That was what she wanted.
Yep.
And that was what all of her crazy shit was around.
Yeah.
If she was a gold digger when she didn't know if it was Tony or AJ who was the father of Michael,
Right.
Tony was a doctor. They lived in an apartment and he had child support and probably alimony. AJ was
Yeah.
the trust fund quartermain guy. She wanted Tony because she thought she was in love with him and it was the family and yada yada. That is not good gold digging.
No.
And even when she married AJ, it wasn't about gold digging, it was about her plan. But Carly now has that family that loves and accepts her. She
Yeah.
had Bobby, she has that in her kids. So
Yeah.
she doesn't, that's why she doesn't act that way anymore. She doesn't,
Right.
she'll still do things, but now the things she does are
It's for
things to
her family.
protect her family
Yep.
and to protect the people she loves. It's not lashing out crazy like she used to be.
Right.
So
Yep. Exactly. And it's just, um, and it just goes to show you how matured she's become.
mhm,
That's why she's the matriarch of the Spencer family.
yeah,
End of story, right there.
right
Um,
there. Boom. It's done.
yep.
I know
All right.
she was in love with Tony and she hated that. Oh God, I hated that.
Hey
Ah.
Nathan, welcome to the chat. Want to say everybody, great thing to see such an interactive chat. Go ahead and like this video, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twix or Facebook. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Follow the page you're watching it on. Subscribe. Go ahead and hit that notifications bell because anytime we go live, you'll find out. Um, all right, so moving on. How did you like the scene with Lucas coming in to see Michael and Willow with Wiley at Bobby's? And that was just such a heartbreaking kind of
It
thing.
really was. Because, I mean, Lucas was as much a victim in that as Michael was,
Yep.
and he did the right thing
Yep.
and broke his heart doing it,
Yeah.
and it was. And then it was funny though when Willow and Michael were telling Wiley, and he's like, "Yeah, great. Can we go on the boat now?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah. He didn't care.
Yeah, very much like a kid.
Yep. Oh, of
So
course.
yeah. So yeah. So I liked the scenes, and I
Yeah.
liked that Wiley, Lucas can have Wiley as part of his life, and that Lucas and Michael are okay.
Yeah.
So
And you know what? It was just so great. And I really like how they kind of stayed in contact. And,
mhm,
it's going to be nice to see that dynamic. Um,
mhm.
as it goes, forward between Michael and Lucas and
Mhm.
and everything. Um,
It
but
also cracked me up going back to the Lucas and Ava scene when Lucas said that Carly always sent him pictures of Avery too,
yeah,
which
yeah,
Ava's like, "Yeah."
yeah.
But why didn't
Oh,
Ava just send them herself?
exactly, exactly. All right, so I've got to tell you, I don't think I've ever said this about this character, but I really
Oh God.
am ready to slap Portia. I just cannot stand her right now. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all about protecting your kids, but she's a doctor. She's supposed to be smart, and like what she did going into the lab and changing results was just so stupid. Because
Right.
now we all knew that it was leading down to the point where she's gonna, you know, now that she knew that Brad was back in the lab, she was gonna go ahead and excuse me, and she was gonna go ahead and pin it on Brad. However,
Yeah.
thanks to the here's the thing, I gotta tell you, I never loved Brad so much more than I did this week.
Oh,
Because
today I absolutely loved him.
oh yes.
I thought it was hysterical, his little blackmail with Portia, because, well, here's my thing is that, I mean, she definitely was stupid
Yes.
with how, she went about that, but she's a good girl. She's not good at being bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? She didn't think, she didn't, doesn't have the evil genius thing going on.
Right.
So I understand it. My issue, I was more pissed at her being a dick to Brad
Yeah.
when she knew what she had done.
Oh, I know. I know.
I was just like, and I mean, Brad's
And,
shit wasn't, but I'm just like, you know what you did, and you're being an asshole to this guy.
and not to
That
mention,
was not okay with me.
she has no room to talk when it comes to, paternity stuff and lab results. When what she did to Curtis and not telling him about Trina for all those years,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just she's she's being portrayed as such a hypocrite, and you
Yeah.
know, and then today going over to talk to Curtis and saying, "Oh, I think I made such a huge mistake," and telling him about everything that's going on, and he's like, "Okay, well, who knows about it?"
Yeah.
Well, only you and Ava.
Yeah.
Ava Jerome. Why would you tell her? Oh, well, she just guessed it. Like what?
Well, I mean, honestly, Ava is probably her best help in this
Right.
because Ava does have that evil genius bone, and
Yeah,
Ava will protect Portia for Trina.
exactly.
But Brad today was just brilliant with it.
He was.
He really was. And Portia has no one but herself to blame.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she could have just not been a dick.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And just the way that Terry came in to talk to, talk to Brad and like, oh well, how's everything going with the the report and oh I'm finding some stuff, but I want to double check. I want to be the perfect employee,
Yeah.
and just the way that he played it so well. Just
Hmm.
I enjoy, and we actually got the answer that he wasn't cut out for Miss Wu's organization.
Yes.
Although I would love to see Lydia look back on my screen. She could be involved with this whole thing. With Kate's and Kate's death. John Cates a much more intriguing storyline now that he's dead than he had when he was alive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's um, but it just yeah, you're right, Shapiro. General Hospital is actually the longest running medical drama. Um,
Mhm.
so
Yep.
yeah, I can't I really can't stand Portia right now. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. But I did like how Rick called or Curtis called Rick in to talk to him. And
Yeah.
see, here's the thing: Curtis is a lot more level-headed. He
Yes.
will, he talked to Rick and said, "All right, be straight with me. What's going to happen?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, we found out that out of all of the test results, GH's kid was the only one that came back with an anomaly. So I'm going to
Hmm.
have the record subpoenaed, and it's going to provide proof that Heather was acting because of the metallosis,
Yeah.
and that's going to give enough evidence to reopen her case. And then she could go to trial again. And if that's the case, it could be a lower charge, and she'll be ready to walk out that day with time served.
Hmm.
Um, or it could go where she just accepts a plea deal for a lesser sentence, or and
Right.
she's going through exactly what could happen and potentially happen.
Right.
So now Curtis has to clean up. She hope that Portia's mess, doesn't actually come out to see the light of day. Especially,
Right.
Brad is like, so Dr. Robinson, what would you like me to do with these results?
I know
And
that was, yeah.
and she's like, well, just comply with the police and do your normal stuff and make sure everything is thorough. And I'll talk to Terry and we'll get you your permanent position in the lab before your,
your
probationary
trial.
period.
Yeah.
Like, that was
I'm
just
like,
so
sounds
funny.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then he gives her the paper. Don't worry, I've got
yeah.
my own digital copy. Just a little, yeah,
Just
just a
I
little,
love
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, it
Chad
was beautifully done,
Chad
and
says diligence or discretion. I
I
like
was
that.
Team Brad on that one because,
Yep.
oh goodness, yeah. So
No,
yeah,
I enjoyed that. I really did. Um,
I mean, as far as her medical career being over, I mean, Liz helped keep a pregnant woman captive, and
right.
she was promoted to
Yeah,
head nurse
exactly.
because of it. So she's probably going to be okay
Oh yeah.
medical career wise.
Yes. Exactly.
So
Um, we actually didn't see much of Isaiah and Jordan this week. Um, actually, I don't think we saw any of them this week.
nope,
Um, let's see. I think we covered just about everything.
not
Uh,
Lucky.
well,
We
yeah.
didn't
Oh yeah.
cover Lucky and Laura coming back.
Yes.
Lucky
Um,
finding out that he wasn't. It was interesting that they didn't go the alcohol route with him.
I'm glad they didn't. It's like because that would have been something Luke would have done. Which we saw numerous times. You know,
I know, but we know that Lucky had a problem with drugs and alcohol.
that's true.
Well,
You're right.
drugs mainly, but yeah. So, and Isaiah, had questioned. But yeah, so the parasite,
Yeah.
so that'll be, whatever that is. And but I liked, when he went and he destroyed Kelly's or
Yes.
Bobby's, and I
Yeah.
loved Jocelyn ripping into him and then covering for him with the police.
Yeah.
That was very Spencer of her.
Exactly.
You know, I'll rip you a new one. But, only I get to, I'm not gonna get you arrested.
Right.
And then, it was a little messed up that he left her there to clean up the mess himself, but or herself, but that's the Spencer men, sadly.
Yeah.
Um, I did like Lucky praying for guidance
Yes.
and Laura showing up.
Yes.
That
I
was
think that
nice.
was. I think that was actually planned perfectly.
Yeah.
The way they wrote that.
Yeah, that was really nice. I mean, I'm not the biggest Laura fan. I think she's a horrible mother, but it was a very nice moment. And I thought that and the scenes that her and Lucky had, and then the promise me if I have to say goodbye, you'll be there to hold my hand. That was, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking. But we did find out that Ethan got tested wherever the hell he is.
Ethan got tested off screen,
Yeah.
yes.
I would have liked to see Ethan come back. I think he would have
Mhm.
worked in perfectly with the whole Christina storyline.
Yeah.
We had talked about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, especially with his mother being back. But,
Yeah,
you never know. He could pop up at any time.
exactly. And they
So,
did briefly recast Ethan, last year or whatever it was for that one or two episodes when, you
mhm.
know, um,
Yeah, the last time when Holly came
yeah,
back and was kidnapped with the Tracy stuff.
right. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but who is coming back this week? Steve Weber.
Yes, Stephen Lars Weber is coming back.
Yep, for a brief visit.
Yep,
Um,
just for a quick
just
visit, just to
just
drop
to kind
in.
of say hi and bye.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's going to be Scott Reeves portraying him again.
Mhm.
So, it seems like him and his wife are both coming back for short stints for their soaps. As Melissa
Yeah,
Reeves is going
he
back to
said he
dance.
did it while she was filming hers.
Oh, so that makes sense
Yeah.
because he'll be coming up this week. She won't be coming up till May of next year.
Right, because they
So,
filmed so far ahead. But yeah, no, he said that he worked with Heather. He had scenes with Heather and with Liz, and
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's going to be good to see him back on screen, even for the brief little bit.
Mhm.
I agree with Shapiro saying I hope we get the actual transplant surgery in the OR. I hope they kind of offer Isaiah a job at GH.
I
To
do
keep
too,
an
but
eye
he
out.
said that he doesn't want to be a surgeon anymore.
Right.
He
Yeah.
said that
No.
he won't do surgery anymore. So there's a story
Right.
there.
There's a story there. I mean,
Now, I don't think Sam is going to die on the table.
no, it would be afterwards.
Yeah, something's going to happen after. And I don't know if I believe the Cyrus thing, although I see how they could do it where it would make sense.
Yep.
Um,
I think she has to get the goodbye scene. I think she actually has to. Just a character with that longevity, you know.
yeah, I don't know how much goodbye she'll get though if they're going the Cyrus route.
So yeah, that's somebody brought it up in the chat earlier about Cyrus or Rick killing her.
Well, there are two rumors. One of them that she gets hit by a car that Rick is driving during a storm,
Okay.
and that it's a hit and run.
Yep.
Um, and I could see that one, although depending on how quickly they're going to do this transplant,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be this week. I think it'll be next week,
Yep.
maybe the week after. We'll see.
Hmm.
Because Lulu is going to have some kind of crisis, so they're going to have to stabilize her before they
Yep.
can, do a surgery. Another rumor is that Cyrus is going to kill her by injecting something into her IV bag while she's in the hospital after the surgery. Now, the more I think about it, the more it could make sense. If
Hmm.
Cyrus finds out that Lulu was still in love with Dante or thinks that Lulu was still in love with Dante, just assumes it and feels bad, because we already know he feels bad that he put Lulu there.
Right.
So he's trying to clear her way to Dante.
Yeah.
I could see it.
I could too. Yes.
But they also have him reformed. So it's weird, but you never know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, I guess.
I want to thank everybody for watching as always. Big audience today, and for the chat too. Such a great interactive chat. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and get notified. Just hit that notifications bell so that anything that comes on these channels, you get notified so that you can get some awesome soap opera and wrestling content here on these channels. And like I said, go ahead and sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. You get everything early and before it hits YouTube, before it hits the podcast channel. By the end of tonight, you'll have the next episode of Take Me Down to Studio City and the next episode of Angela Answers Fan Mail. Well, if you don't subscribe to the Patreon, you'll have to wait for it later in the week. Tomorrow night, you'll get the new episode of Dockside at the Bay on Patreon. If not, it'll be on Wednesday. But anyways, so definitely go sign up for the Patreon. Patreon.com/Suds and Squared Circle. If you want to help us out, buymeacoffee.com/Suds Media. I do also want to remind everybody that we are on Saturday, November 16th, starting at 12 noon. We are going to embark on a 24-hour charity telethon on these same networks that you're watching this show on now. It's going to be a 24-hour charity telethon to support the organizations, the charity organization Samantha's Friends, which specializes in rehoming and service animals, or temporarily rehoming service animals for veterans and people that have service animals if they go to the hospital or they're deployed or have to homelessness or what have you. So there's a lot of stuff that soap stars do for Samantha's Friends, especially. They do 2 galas a year, one in September, one in May. But we're going to be doing a 24-hour charity telethon. It's going to start at 12 noon on Saturday, November 16th, and at 12 noon on Sunday, November 17th. Angela's going to be part of it.
Yes, I am.
Kim is going to be a part of it. We're working on, John from Chair Shot Sports is going to be a part of it. Big Mike from, I'll have to get the name of his show. He's gonna be a part of it. Princess Skywalker is going to be a part of it. We're going to take turns being anchors. We're going to work on getting some celebrity guest interviews. I've already got one who's confirmed. I'm not going to let it out of the bag until I get an actual time frame down. But it's going to be fun. I want everybody to just understand that this is something we're doing to give back. There's going to be, multiple ways to donate. We're still working all that out, but it is going to support Samantha's friends. So we're looking forward to it, and we're going to have fun for it. So definitely go ahead and follow Samantha's friends on Twix. Their handle is, let me just double check it to make sure that I have it correctly. And of course, it's not going to give it to me right off the top. Oh, there we go. It's _FRNDS. Follow them on Twitter, or on Twix, I should say. Samantha's Friends. It's a great charity, and we're going to look to help them out. So, Angela, any closing thoughts? We didn't see any Drew this week. We didn't see any Nina this week. But it's all coming up to a head, with Sunny and Alexis and Christina and Sam and Dante and Lulu.
The action's just going to keep building until an explosive November sweeps, and we still have Sidwell lurking.
Yes, we do. We do have Sidwell coming back.
So stay tuned to GH and to us.
Yes, exactly. So go ahead and Angela, where can everyone follow you as always?
At Brooklyn74 on Twitter, Twix, and also pettyprattle.com.
Yeah. So, and as always, at Vinnie Suds and at Suds Media. Follow us on Twix. And again, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, get notified. 150 people watching right now. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate the love and support. And like I said, go over and sign up for Patreon because you'll get more programming tonight before it hits YouTube and the podcast feed. Hey, Christy, thank you so much for tuning in. Just at the nick of time. But thank you guys all for watching. And we'll be back next week with more Suds news. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.